So now I'm a couple of weeks out of date on this one, but I got tied up with things. Basically, Caitlyn Jenner was in the news, and I kind of want to use this to talk about sort of a larger issue when it comes to Caitlyn Jenner being, well, Caitlyn Jenner. So basically, Caitlyn said in the news that she thought that Donald Trump had taken back trans issues by like 20 years. So, first off, I think that's a really optimistic estimate because I don't think he's going to stop in the 90s. But second, I kind of get the opinion that the only reason Caitlyn is mad about this is because she wanted to be the one to do it. When Caitlyn came out, that was probably the first I had ever heard of her. So, I looked into her very briefly, like, Olympic career had something to do with the Kardashians that I don't understand because I've never kept up with the Kardashians, and just the fact that I'm able to make a joke even tangentially related to them probably is a sign that cultural osmosis works. And while I knew a few things going into this, she's a Republican, people have accused her of being homophobic, etc. I really didn't have a huge database of Caitlyn Jenner related material. None of that really mattered because the main thing that I went in to address were the transphobic attacks on her. And so, despite not liking her, I defended her because I think that there is a certain level of basic dignity that people should be afforded, and the fact that a lot of this basically came out of attacks on trans people, I don't know, might hit kind of close to home for some reason. But I tried to keep it limited in focus because, well, I mean, even as limited in focus as I was, people still kind of, well, I mean, they would say things like, oh my God, how can you defend somebody who's so horrible? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I have this personal philosophy that, I don't suddenly become okay with racism just because I don't like the black or Hispanic guy in question. I don't suddenly become okay with sexism just because the woman is a Republican, and so on and so on. And I really don't think that it's okay to suddenly just say, hey, transphobia is all right because I don't personally like her. I have, of course, discovered in that time that this view is not shared entirely among the transgender community, and in fact, a lot of people have basically justified it by saying, that she is an awful person and therefore, I don't know, she doesn't deserve to be treated the same way as the rest of us. I don't get the three-way here. But while I will defend her basic right to exist and some basic level of human dignity, I think her views are completely on the table, and I think she's expressed enough awful ones for me to really not want to have her as a figurehead speaking for me or anyone like me. And while I don't think that her motives are actually the intent to set trans rights back 20 years, I do think that her intent is probably self-serving, as it has appeared to be in the past, and it also tends to throw the rest of us under the bus. And so when she talks about Donald Trump doing something wrong after supporting him and wanting to be the trans ambassador, I am still breathing a pretty huge sigh of relief over that one, by the way. But when she talks about these specific issues and how Donald Trump isn't helping and whatnot, I can't help but think that it's probably just because it doesn't help her. Because in the past, she hasn't been very helpful herself, despite wanting to be an ambassador. But, I mean, in the past, she has said things like, and this isn't going to be an exhaustive list, but to the effect of trans people are all mentally ill. Trans people only do it for attention, which, by the way, fuck you. It's easy to come out, which, by the way, double fuck you. It's hard to come out as Republican, which, triple fuck you. I mean, it's possible that it actually is easy for someone like Caitlyn Jenner, who has some level of celebrity, which I still haven't gauged because I don't understand why people pay attention to Kardashians. But if I had my druthers, I would not only go back into the closet, but I would nail the door shut behind me. I just don't think that I could live that way for the rest of my life. And if I'm being honest, I really wouldn't care about any of this if she just kind of did it in her own personal life and whatever. I mean, like, there's a news story I saw when I was looking something else up that she is apparently not making her kids call her mom and letting them call her dad. And you know what? If she wants to do that, that's really up to her. I have plans for a video on, air quotes, dead naming that will probably eventually make it to this channel. But it's when she sets herself up as some sort of authority figure or ambassador that I started to get an issue with it.